I am here with Abyss. He has just signed a new contract with Impact Wrestling. Abyss, how you doing?
Good, man. Real good. Thanks for having me on.
So I'm very interested. You signed a new deal with Impact Wrestling. You've been one of the constant in Impact since almost the beginning. What goes into your decision to re-sign with a company like this?
Well, it was pretty, for me, it was a pretty easy decision. I've been here, very proud that I've been here, since the very beginning and, almost 17 years with the company and really proud of everything I've been able to accomplish and really proud of all the opportunities that I was given and so forth. So for me, it was a really easy decision, to come back to the company and in a wrestler's position, to be a wrestler and as also well to continue, my heavy responsibilities backstage and as far as an agent and producing stuff and helping the younger talent. So for me, it was, like I said, it was a pretty easy decision, to come back. It's home to me. I love the company with all my heart. So it was pretty much a no-brainer.
Let's talk about your expanded role backstage. You were at their most recent pay-per-view, producing and working as an agent and handling things like that, correct?
Yes. Oh, yes. Slammiversary.
I mean that had Abyss's fingerprints all over it. That show.
Absolutely. Yeah. As you know, it got, that show got more buzz and more positive response than anything we've done in a long time. So I looked at it as almost like a building block, for us to really catapult ourselves into Bound for Glory in October and to moving into the next year. And, so it did have a lot of fingerprints of certain guys on it as well. And I think the feeling is that we're going to do some stuff that other companies aren't doing, and kind of make ourselves a little bit different and do things that, like I said, other companies aren't doing. And I think you saw the result in that in Slammiversary. And, I think that'll be a mainstay of what we do, in certain spots at the right times, going forward.
Considering you've been around so long and through some ups and downs, what does it mean to you to have a show like that be received with such universal acclaim? It was the buzz of wrestling that entire night. The next day, I mean, I didn't meet anybody who didn't like it.
Yeah, me neither. And it's a great feeling, man. I've been around when the reviews were the exact opposite, man. I've been there when things weren't good. And I've been there when I saw when things, I was a part of things when we weren't being as well received as we were last Sunday at Slammiversary. So I've seen both sides of it. And, even our most harshest critics were very positive about Slammiversary. So that was really exciting, and I think it made us feel confident that we're onto something and we're doing things right and doing things different. And like I said, I think we're just trying to make ourselves different and do a different presentation. And I think you saw it Sunday, and I think we're going to continue to build off of that and into Bound for Glory.
When an Abyss signs a new contract, does Joseph Park look it over for him?
Oh God, yeah, of course, man. I got my own built-in in-house legal, man. Just turn it right on over, and he handles the whole thing for me.
That seems like the type of thing that Impact Wrestling on air should probably approach. Like, Abyss has to make sure he's getting the right deal. I mean, loyalty's one thing, but you got to make sure you got to make sure the specifics are in there. We also
Absolutely.
sorry about that. We also had an interesting question one of our readers wanted to pose to you. You've had a lot of different characters, or not characters, but looks for the Abyss character. They were very interested to find out how much input you had on something like that, because I mean it was an ever-changing costume, ever-changing gear, ever-changing mask, and how much input did you have in that?
I had an awful lot, and I credit the company was very open to my ideas with it. They also provided a lot of input as well, so it was very much a collaborative effort, and I had a ton of input on every phase of it, and I also had a ton of help on every phase of it too. So it worked out great.
It also took a while for the Abyss character to ever speak. How did you feel about that? Was that something that you pushed for? Like maybe it's time to make this next step. Did they come to you? How did you feel about that?
Well, I didn't want to talk. I didn't feel like I felt like the character was so great with Jim Mitchell and
Yeah.
with Jim Mitchell speaking for him and so forth. And, I think it got to the point where I'd been around for 5 or 6 years and not said a word. And I think the feeling creatively was, for the character and for Abyss to kind of evolve and move on, he was going to have to talk for himself. And, I fought that for a little while, as long as I could, but eventually I think I saw that was the way to go with it too, and then I had to speak and so forth, and I enjoyed it. I did some fun promos and some memorable stuff, I thought, and really had some fun with it, and did well with it.
You did do a lot of work with James Mitchell. How was that? Do you all still keep in touch?
Still keep in touch. Yeah, he's doing great. He's a great man. I still think he's in the top 3 promos in the wrestling business even to this day. I think he's extremely underrated. He's a great person and a great friend, and I miss him a lot. We keep in touch. So we were able to bring him back in a couple cameo spots this year, which was really, really nice, I thought, and really kind of a nice reunion of the Monster and the Reverend.
So you work backstage with Impact Wrestling. How much longer do you see yourself competing inside the ring? I see you advertise for Monsters ball matches pretty often still around the regional circuit too.
Yeah, I get out on the indies an awful lot. I enjoy it. I love independent wrestling. I love getting out and seeing, the different promotions out there and the different towns, and in the indies you get to go to some of the small towns too, which I really like. Some of those small towns really grab you, the passion that fans have and so forth, or you don't get it sometimes as much in the bigger markets. So the indie scene is really unique and fun, and so forth, and you will see Abyss. Stay tuned. Like I said, I re-signed, so you'll see Abyss here and there, and hopefully some big things coming up in 2019.
Do you ever use that as a tool to sort of maybe scout talent as well? You're out there, you're making those towns, and you see somebody that just shocks and awes you. Is that something that you would do? You go to Impact and say, hey, maybe they're worth a look.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. I've always got my eyes open and always looking for young, promising talent that I can help, and I can put in touch with the right people, or at least get them an address to send a tape to or a DVD to. And you're right. You find a lot of diamonds in the rough out there. There's so much good talent out there, especially as hot as the indie scene is right now. And it's a tough business to get into, man. It's a little bit shy of making it as a big time actor in Hollywood. There's very few spots, and there's so much talent, and you run across a lot of really diamonds in the rough, really good talent out there on the indies.
This is a bit of a retro question. Last week, actually, we reviewed Unbreakable 05, and there were a lot of big names on that show that I fondly remembered. I looked back on that match with you and Sabu, and I was like, man, outside of maybe the match a month later at Bound for Glory that you all were involved in, I thought that was one of Sabu's best matches he ever had. What do you look back and remember about that experience? Because you all did a lot of stuff in a sort of wrestling that was kind of saturated at the time, and found a way to do a lot of stuff that nobody else was doing.
Yeah, the Unbreakable pay-per-view in 05, the Barbed Wire Massacre with me and Sabu, I rank it in my top 2 or 3 matches I ever had. It was a special moment. A lot of people don't realize that no ropes barbed wire had never been done on live television before. It had been done in Japan. It had been done in some other places, but that was the first time it was ever done live on TV in North America. So it was a chance for us to do something different, and I was really excited about it. I was scared. I had never done one before. Sabu had done a few of them, and I had never done one. That was my first one, so I remember being extremely nervous and a little bit scared, which I think was good. It helped. Because the match was a shoot. The ring was wrapped in 3/4 inch gator wire, and there was nowhere to go. So it was a great memory. I'm so proud of it. It's in my top 2 or 3 favorite matches I ever had. So
I'm also always interested
And
to find
it
out.
hurt an awful lot, and I bled an awful lot too.
Well, we saw that. We definitely saw that. What do you look at on Impact Wrestling's program? Maybe something outside of the title picture, the main event scene that you look at, or someone rather that you look to emerge and you look to maybe take the torch of Impact Wrestling.
Oh yeah. You know, it's funny you say that, and it's a good question. To answer, I think there's a few guys. You know, that's the one thing about our roster right now, man. It's really hungry. They're passionate, and they just want to succeed. You can see it in their eyes when you talk to them. And you know, I see it in guys like Sami Callihan. You know, I think he's one of the best heels in the business right now. And I see it in Moose, and I see it in Austin Aries. You know, like I always have with him. You know, I see it with the young guys in LAX, you know, Santina and Ortiz. These guys, you know, they're all about business, and they're all about getting it done and getting it done great. So I see an awful lot of guys on our roster stepping forward in the near future to take leadership roles from top to bottom.